There are some interviews that I do that take me through the entire panacea of emotions. The one that is coming up right now is one of those interviews. It is with a criminal attorney in Israel named Ben Marmarelli. If you'll recall, I spoke about him in my last From the Desk, showing a video of him talking about what one of his clients, a Palestinian political prisoner, is subjected to every time he goes to visit him. It is a brutal act of torture. A warning to our listeners, this next interview at times will have you cackling, but it will also have you horrified, because Mr. Marmarelli really encapsulates what it feels like to try and live and work in Israel today and be an anti-Zionist, be a criminal attorney, try to uphold the law, whatever that means in what he describes as a colonial, genocidal state. Trust me, you don't want to miss this interview. Stay tuned. Ben Marmarelli, thank you so much for joining me on the line. I know it's late where you are, so I really appreciate this.
Tell me, we are 24/7.
I want to first start with how I even heard of you. So I watched a video of you describing in brutal detail what some of your clients are going through. Can you just take me through what it is like right now in the Israeli prison service for Palestinian?
I have only one political prisoner right now as a client, and he's my client since 2022. So there was always torture in Israeli prisons. It's nothing new. But since the new minister, and especially since the 7th of October 2023, the situation escalated. What happened on the 7th of October to the prisoners is that the IPS, the Israeli Prison Service, the guards came in, took everything, took all of the personal belongings of all of the prisoners, and they took all their clothes, their shaving products, their hygiene products, their whatever little personal belongings they had. It's a small cell that fits 6 people with 6 iron beds with no mattresses. And in this small cell live 12 Palestinian prisoners. I want to stress this because from other interviews, I understood not most people understand that not all Palestinian prisoners are being held by the IDF in military prisons. The long-time political prisoners are held in prisoners by the IPS, not the IDF. So
That's
this is
that's the Israeli prison service, IPS.
yes, that is under Ben Gvir's control. Okay, Ben Gvir is the minister that is appointed in charge of the IPS. And what is going on is they don't get medical treatment. My client suffers from medical issues.
This is not the client that you were referring to, however, in that video, is it?
Only client. And this is my only client.
This is your only... So that same client is being brutalized in the way that you describe every time you go to see him?
Yes, I want to say something about this also. Everybody's talking to me about the rape. Like the rape is the big issue. The rape is not the big issue.
I mean...
The rape is the least of his problems.
Wow. Wow.
Rape is not the issue. The issue is the conditions of the prisoners. And the rape is just one of the many pieces of the puzzle, which is Israel torturing the Palestinian prisoners. The sodomy is just what it happens once in a while for 5 minutes. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it's horrible for them because it's horrible. It's humiliating. It's rape. But uh, he's telling about this like it's just one of the things. He
Wow.
showed me the boot marks on his back. He showed me the uh, like a red. You see a red line on his hands where the handcuffs are being put,
Yes.
uh, and they stop the blood circulation. And he showed me bruises all over his body. So the rape that happens once in a few weeks, and now I understand the rape is happening, especially when I come to visit him or when a lawyer comes to visit him. I don't know if you know this, but Palestinian political prisoners don't get any visitations of any kind for years. So the only connection a I'm not talking about Jewish political prisoners because they get visitations, they get everything. But Palestinian political prisoners, they don't get any visitation. They didn't see their families for years. And their only connection to the outside world is a lawyer's visit.
Mm.
So the lawyer's visit is just about the most important thing for a Palestinian political prisoner. And it came to the situation that this prisoner asking me not to come anymore
Oh.
because every time I come, they rape him and they beat him. So he doesn't want me to come. So this is the situation.
You,
The
I
beatings
think,
and the rape are systematic.
yeah, I think you do a great job of describing the sort of duplicity with which Palestinian prisoners versus Jewish prisoners are treated. I want to ask you a more broader question about the treatment of Palestinian prisoners. Were you surprised at all with the leak of that video showing how prisoners are being treated in Sidi Timen?
The Sdete man, listen, what they did is they found the scapegoat
Mm,
because they rape all of the prisoners, in Sdete man especially. And not only that they rape all of the prisoners, they have cameras filming 24/7. So if they really wanted to act against the rape and the beatings and the torture, we could have done this years ago. They don't do it. And what they did is because there was such a international fallout, they decided to pick just one case and go after it. By
mm.
the way, they uh, dropped the ball on that as well because that case is over. They're not. Nobody's being even. Nobody's taken to court on this case. The only case that was leaked, they released one of the detainees. That's really instead of Iman's detainees, it's under the IDF. It's not under the IPS. Now, instead Iman, they released the victim of this case without taking his testimony. So, if you understand a little bit about criminal law, that means the case is over.
Right. And then, so what was this video of these, the rapists, the IDF soldiers from that 100 brigade? What was this video of them in the Supreme Court? Everybody clapping, saying, "You are our heroes. We love you."
Yes. Uh, the, there are the procedure. The criminal procedure is a long procedure. They started it, but one hand supposedly didn't know what the other hand was doing, and it found and everybody found out after that court date that this victim was released and the testimony wasn't taken. And the newspaper headline in Haaretz was the IDF's legal team wasn't aware that this victim was released without taking his testimony.
You were actually critical also of Haaretz, the criminal correspondent, I believe. I think you wrote
Josh
his.
Breiner.
Yes, saying that, they're not even reporting on these things.
Listen, I get now interviews from all over the world, but not from Israel. Nobody from Israel talked to me. Nobody.
How do you explain that?
Cycles.
Wow.
Zionists. This is a political ideology, and for Zionists, the truth is not relevant. For Zionists, what they care about is their Hasbara perspective, their Hasbara position.
Mhm.
That's all they care about. And they are mad at me, of course, for telling the truth, because the truth is something that you don't say in Israel. It's something that you don't say. Now, the Palestinians, of course, don't say it, because if they say the truth, they go to prison. The Israelis, the Zionists don't say it because they don't believe in the truth. They believe in Hasbara, they believe in propaganda. They don't believe in the truth. So, so
What is what's the like
I'm doing a problematic thing for them. They don't know what to do with me now. Should they torture me? Should
Oh
they?
my god.
So what they're doing is just ignoring me, and I guess they'll keep ignoring me until this goes. I don't know. I don't know until when, but even Josh Breiner and Gal Shezaf, the left wing Zionists, they ignored me. All the reporters from all around the world are talking to me. They're sending me messages and emails. And these two journalists from Haaretz, the left wing Zionists, they didn't answer my messages.
Wow.
And Josh Breiner didn't answer me. Then he said he should file a complaint. Did you file a complaint? He asked me. Did you file a complaint? It's ridiculous.
Wow. What is the complaint that the IPS filed against you with the Bar Association? What are they alleging?
It's the Israeli Bar Association has its own court for lawyers, just for lawyers. And they're taking me to this court.
What are you being accused of?
Not respecting the profession of a lawyer.
Sorry,
You're you're you're
I'm
laughing, but
laughing.
they can revoke my license.
I know. No, I apologize for laughing. It's just so absurd.
It is absurd and ridiculous, and this is the Zionist mindset.
Wow.
They're trying to revoke my license.
Uh, Listen, we don't know exactly what's going on right now in Israel. We hear the news that's coming out, but we see rapists being cheered in Supreme Court. There's Ben Gvir giving tours, pointing at, prisoners, saying that,
No, I
and
know.
then passing out candy in the courts after death penalty first passing. What's going on there? What's going on?
Really crazy. But I try to explain this way. In this country, between the river and the sea, there are 15 million people. Less than half of them are Zionists. Less than half of the 15 million people are Zionists. It's just that most of the anti-Zionists don't have citizenship.
Hmm.
So the Zionists control the government, control everything. The state is Zionist. The laws are Zionist. This is a colonial system. And in a colonial system, the native population, the indigenous population, can't have the same rights as the colonists. And this is enshrined in law.
Well,
This is
what does it
enshrined.
mean for you then to be a lawyer in that system? How do you navigate that?
That's how do I navigate? I don't. I get revoked. Maybe I don't know. I don't navigate. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, being a lawyer of Palestine. Now I only have one Palestinian prisoner. client. There were times I had more, but now I only have one, and is a client of mine for 4 years now, or something like that, and is became my friend. And I take care of him. I do it. I don't usually. I don't even take money for this.
You're also a sociologist. You're not just a lawyer. I mean, can you put that sociologist hat on and tell me what's it going to take for this to change?
The hat doesn't come off.
It doesn't come off okay.
The hat is always on. I'm always a sociologist. Always.
What's it going to take for things to change?
To change. What is change? I don't know. I know what I want.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get there. I know what I want. I want decolonization. That means equal rights to all of the subjects of the state, from the river to the sea. Equal rights, a state of all its citizens. And of course, the cancellation of about 60 apartheid laws,
Yeah.
60 apartheid laws
Yeah.
that can be cancelled in a minute. And of course, the right of return of all Palestinian refugees. There's about 8 million of them in the world. Of course, not all of them will want to come, but it should be a given right.
I mean, that's a really tall order that even I don't even know where to begin. But I want to start again, come back to what you were saying about these 60 apartheid laws, because I don't think that many people understand really how ingrained this duplicitous system is. Can you take me through some of these laws, like one or two or three or four of them?
So, you know what? It's not just the laws. It's not
Yeah.
just the 60 laws. There are more. You have to understand what is colonial bureaucracy. Colonial bureaucracy is not just the laws. It's the way the laws are being, and it's regulations also. And it's the people enforcing the regulations and the laws. And it's the judges, and it's everything. So the colonial system is everywhere. It's everything they do. For example, they don't. They built, like, after destroying 531 villages in 1948, they established about 1,000 cities. All of them cities in the communities, whatever. Jewish. All of them Jewish. All of them. And the Palestinians with Israeli citizenship. I'm not even talking about occupied territories. I'm talking about 48.
48, yeah.
I'm talking about proper Israel by international law. Inside proper Israel, international recognized proper Israel, inside of that there is apartheid, not just in the occupied territories. Occupied territories is complete hell. Occupied territories is complete catastrophic, post-apocalyptic Nazi occupation. That's West Bank and Gaza. Gaza genocide.
Let me stop you for a second, because when people talk about Israel 48 proper, there is this image of a multicultural, beautiful place. They're from Yemen, they're from Ethiopia, they're from everywhere, and everybody has the same rights. Is
No.
that true?
No.
Okay.
First of all, even within the Jewish population, there's extreme racism within the Jewish population. And that goes again, to the judges and everyone, they don't get the same verdicts if you are Sephardic Jew, if you're Ashkenazi Jew, if you're Yemenite, if you're Ethiopians. Ethiopians, they have like a very high percentage of being imprisoned compared to Ashkenazis. Uh, no, so no, there is equal rights according to the law, but not in practice. No, they don't get the same treatment. The Ashkenazis and the Sephardic, the Jews coming from Arab countries, from Iran, they don't get the same treatment. From Yemen, Yemenites are always the butt of the joke.
Mm.
Uh, Ethiopians, even worse than Yemenites. So Israel is the whole Zionist idea is a racist idea that was, of course, inspired by the eugenics movement uh,
Wow.
and race theory of the 19th century, and that was and colonialism, of course. And you have to remember, the Zionists always said they were colonialists. It's just in the 60s when colonialism started to be frowned upon. That's when Zionists started to eliminate the word colonialism from their lexicon.
Let me tell. I want to ask you how you got here, though. You grew up, I'm assuming, in that society. You
Yes.
went to its law schools.
My parents and grandparents are all raving Zionists. My grandparents are dead, but they're all raving Zionists.
So how did you get here?
Story, I guess it's which in which space do you want me to start? Because it started in childhood, definitely.
You do you remember that first realization that you were like, oh, what's going on here? This is very unequal. There's a lot of injustice going on. Like, do you remember having that awakening?
It's a long process that took me many years. It's not it's nothing. That's not something that happens in a day.
Mm.
It's not something that happens in one time that you understand something. It's a long process that took many years. I always say that I became fully aware anti-Zionist in my first year of university.
Okay.
Yeah. So it took the whole childhood and a few more years and a good professor, and that's it.
You remember who the professor was?
Of course, I write about it. His name is Yuda Shenhav. He's a sociology professor, emeritus. He's a very famous professor, sociology.
At Tel Aviv?
He was at Tel Aviv. Now he retired. He's a good friend of mine to this day.
And what does he think about what you're doing now? I mean, I don't know many lawyers that take to Twitter to do what you did. Why did you want to do that?
I guess the trigger was the complaint, and the complaint that was filed against me was the trigger. But my client, you have to understand, this rape issue is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for him, and we didn't talk about it, and he didn't tell me about it for all these months and years. He didn't tell me about rape. And I saw the prisoners, not only him, I saw more prisoners walking like they were raped, walking down the corridor where they were all looking like they were raped. And I didn't ask him about it. I didn't even ask him about it because I didn't want to embarrass him.
Yeah.
And because of that, I didn't write about the rape in the original petition I filed because the prisoner didn't tell me that, but I did implied because I did see the prisoners walking like that. And I did read the publications all around the world,
Yeah.
and so I implied, but then this Sunday, he told from his initiative, he told me. Embarrassed, he told me. And I thought, well, I have to write it. And I wrote it. In the next comment, I needed to file another. They had how it works in the court that I filed a petition, then they answered, then I have another answer. And in my latest answer, I wrote specifically about what he told me, that he was being raped with a mop stick
Oh my God.
every time I come to visit him. So I wrote this, and then a few days later, 2 days later, or 1 day later, I don't remember, they filed this complaint against me. They sent it to me to scare me. And well, let's just say that I'm not the best candidate to scare and intimidate and complain against.
Good for you. It seems to be having the opposite effect.
Yes, I took. They call it in Hebrew tag mechir. That's what the fascists call their actions. They're taking a price toll. They're taking it. So a price tag. They call
Yeah.
it. The fascist settlers
Are you?
actions.
Let me ask you: Are you afraid at all? I mean, I know you're not gonna be silent, but are you afraid at all for your physical well-being or anything?
Am I human? Am I a human being?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm scared.
I wish you a lot of strength, and I'll be watching what you're doing. I want to ask you one last thing, though, before you go, and I'm asking you this as a journalist, as someone who's been watching the Israeli media. What responsibility you think the Israeli media has for creating the sort of genocidal fervor that we're seeing in Israel?
Endless, including Haaretz.
Mm.
Endless.
Haaretz had a conference here where I am in Toronto in September, where they were sort of congratulating themselves for being the moral, moral eye of Israel and the only ones that the public can count on. What's your response to that?
First of all, there are better publications like 972 and Sicha Mekumi. So Haaretz is not even the most left-wing publication. And they do have some Nazis, fascists writing there. So no, I don't applaud the Haaretz at all. They do get occasional okay stories, but okay, that means not horrifyingly fascist stance. But what now? They are classic left-wing Zionists. Okay, left-wing Zionists are first and foremost Zionists. You have to understand me. Left-wing Zionists are Zionists. So when you take off these masks of liberalism and social justice and all that, deep down there's a person who believes that
Yeah.
Jewish people deserve extra rights, and for this land to be settled by the colonists. So that is their. Now they are worried about how do you call it, the judicial overhaul.
Yes, yeah.
They're not worried about the genocide. They're not worried about apartheid. They're not worried about ethnically cleansing the native population. Zionist left are they're all supporting. They're all supporting everything. They support everything. They support the genocide. They supported the genocide for 2 years. The Zionist left, Yair Golan and all the most. Yair Golan is the most Zionist, the most left-wing Zionist. Yes, is a high-ranking officer in the IDF. That's the most left wing of the Zionists. You understand?
Did you serve in the IDF?
That's quite an outing, but but yes, I was 1 year. 1 year I served, and then I got released on a medical condition.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I should tell about it, but I got out. I realized I don't want to be in the army anymore, and I got out. In the army, I served in Gaza, in
Oh, wow.
Rafah, and I was a checkpoint, because that's all the. What is the occupation? It's many checkpoints that are being. Back then, they were being manned by the IDF soldiers. Now it's been privatized, but back in 2002, 2003, when I was in the IDF, it wasn't privatized. And me, as an 18-year-old
Wow.
stupid boy, I was checking Palestinian IDs.
So young.
Yeah, you're 18 years old and they put you in the middle of Gaza checking IDs for Palestinians. So you're being groomed into being a superior person to the Palestinians. You're being groomed to feel elevated from them, because they're treated like cattle in the
Yeah.
checkpoints. They're treated like cattle in the checkpoints, and you check their IDs, and they need to be nice to you, so you will let them through.
Yeah. If at any point, once you get the updates on anything that's going on with your case, I'd really, really love to have you back on the program to give an update on what's happening.
If I'm not arrested and tortured
Don't say
myself.
that. Don't say that, Ben.
Whatever they do to me, it's pride.
I feel the same. The Israeli government put me on a list, the Ministry of Diaspora, and
Proud of yourself.
I am. I wear it as a crown.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much for joining me on the program. Take care of
For
yourself.
having me.